Hello and welcome once again for the lecture series on urban transportation planning 17 CV 751 session 7 accuracy and reliability. In this session we are going to covering accuracy and reliability, evaluation of survey accuracy, statistical methods, accuracy of travel pattern data, some review questions and references. Accuracy and reliability. So as we know that for any urban transport planning has been concerned, trip generation is the first step in which all urban transport planning is going to be decided. So that is going to be the first phase of what we say the urban transport planning has been concerned. Hence, a trip generation model should be accurate and reliable. So this is the first phase. Hence, if the model is accurate, then all the further what we say analysis is going to be accurate, predictions are going to be more reliable. Hence the accuracy and reliability concepts are going to be applied so before prediction of model. So that is in the first phase only we need to check the accuracy of the data in trip generation has been concerned. So what exactly mean by the accuracy? Accuracy means the model which replicates as closely as possible to the actual number of trips which are been originating or ending in our study area or the zone. So there should not be any bias with respect to the estimation has been concerned. It means the data which is been obtained from the surveying should closely what we say match with respect to the existing condition of the originating and destination of the study area. So that is the accuracy has been concerned. Going to the next mm, term, that is reliability. Reliability means the errors are nominal or minimum. So always the data or the model which has been started generating or the trip generation should be accurate, and also the errors are nominal or minimum. So as we know that we define the word accuracy and reliability, so we need to choose a model so which closely resembles the originating and destination zone. It means model is going to be so chosen. So there are different models are there. So depending upon the accurate which pattern or exactly the model which is been chosen should replicate the actual field condition. So that is the accurate model should be taken into account for trip generation has been concerned, that is with respect to origin and destination parameters if you are going to be taken into account. So in general the trip generation model has high predictability. It means the predictability rate should be at higher. So hence the data whatever been collected should also be accurate. Moving to the next point, that is choose a model which should have mm, minimum error, that is reliability of the model should be taken into account. So it is a usual practice whatever the model we have been building with respect to data which has been collected from the field, numerical model or mathematical models are going to be built, then their accuracies or livelihood of what we say the predictability of the each individual parameters or the variables are going to be cross verified with respect to the r square value or coefficient of correlation or regression. So depending upon which type of a model we are going to be concerned for developing trip generation for a particular study area. So if the r square value is going to be say greater than 0.9, or if it is going to be 0.95, then we can say whatever the variable we chosen for the study or the model is going to be say is going to be somewhat accurate. It means errors are going to be little bit lower as compared to other models what we are going to be concerned are taken into account for building what we say trip generation models. So it is a usual practice. So whatever the model we are going to be taken into account, first we need to check the accuracy before proceeding into further steps for building of the urban transport planning system procedures. Next is the evaluation survey accuracy. Means in the previous sessions we have learnt what are the types of surveys usually we are going to be considered for what we say urban transport planning has been concerned. So it is desirable to check the accuracy of the survey data. So that is previously what I had explained before processing into the analysis. So why? Because in the first step only, if you identify what exactly the error, so that error will not going to be carried forward till the completion of analysis. So if that is going to be taken into account, then predictions are going to be accurate, or otherwise so we may going to be end up with a wrong prediction model. So sometimes it may be overestimated, or sometimes it may be going to be underestimated. So these will lead to what we say the errors or the prediction models will going to end up with uh, what we say the decisions what we are going to be taking at the end by considering the error data or non-reliable data. So the project success rate is not going to be say is not on the positive side. So hence before starting the evaluation has to be carried out. After getting the data, the survey data has to be checked for its accuracy. Next point, this is done by comparing with facts which is already known or it is going to be obtained as a part of survey process. So it means that if you are going to be having a previous study data or data which is already existing from any other sources, or if you are going to be done as a part of survey, so those data needs to be cross verified whether the genuinity existing between the two what we say the data which has been taken or which has been concerned for our study is going to be accurate or not. So as we know that to check what we say the accuracy and reliability of a data, it's a usual practice to have a statistical method. So it isn't just an yardstick which gives an idea about the data, their accuracy, and how much error we have been having in a set of data or the population. So stats is going to be a powerful tool used for analysis and interpretation of the data. So it means a statistical method. There are plenty of methods. So usually we are going to be incorporating for cleansing of a data or to get what we say in checking of standard errors or whatever the format. So we are going to be using stat or different methods of statistics for data analysis has been concerned. Moving on to the next step. So it's the usual trend. We are going to be analyzing mean, standard deviation, and variance. So these are statistical words. I think we know what exactly the definitions is. So it's the usual trend. So for an example, if you are going to be analyzing the spot speed study, so it's an average speed we are going to be taken into account. That is a mean. So what exactly the standard deviation? Lesser than or higher than the mean. So there may be some 10% or 15% acceptance level is going to be taken into account. So likewise we are also going to be taken into account of variances. So as a statistical method or the yardstick, the data might be if a grouped or ungrouped. So depending upon the statistical procedures, so we are going to be using the mean. So why we are going to be getting all these three terms? Because so acceptance criteria according to the stat is always depend upon the mean and standard deviation. So acceptance criteria, hence we need to cross check whatever the data we are been collecting. It might be of a grouped data or ungrouped data. So we need to cross verify the obtained data or collected data for its mean, standard deviation, and variance has been concerned. So as I explained, for data analysis has been concerned, there are plenty of methods available to cross verify the accuracy of the data. So depending upon the type of data, spot speed, accident, or household survey has been concerned, or otherwise what we say the improvisation or gap identification, parking lot, etc. So each and every event is going to be having different types and patterns of a data. Hence different tools or the methods usually we are going to be using. So one amongst is going to be Poisson's distributions and binomial distribution. So how exactly the data is being spread over period of timing or analysis period, or the set of data, how variation we are going to be getting into account. So those are going to be studied clearly by using the concepts of Poisson's and binomial distributions has been concerned. Moving on to the binomial distribution. So it's a usual practice for analysis of a household data and the employment rate. Usually we have been applying the concepts of binomial distribution. It means how exactly the distribution over a grouped data or household are going to be grouped. Say for example, vehicle ownership or the income rate. So depending upon the grouping of a data of a household, their employment pattern are going to be analyzed by using the concepts of binomial distributions by taking a random sample from the population. So as we studied, the data or the sampling is going to be random, or it may be a cluster, or it is going to be any of the form. So it's a usual practice in the survey. We are been picking some data from a set of populations, say it may be 1 in 10 or 1 in 15 or 1 in 20. So those samples are going to be random with respect to population has been concerned. So hence if we are going to apply the concept of statistical method, it is possible to obtain a complete information of the population distribution. It means we know the nature, is it moving, what we say, the supply and demand is higher, or what we can say, is it evenly distributed, or it is uneven, or any other thing. So the nature of the spreadability or the distribution of the population sample we can analyze by using statistical methods. So why we are been concentrating on the statistical method? Because it is an yardstick, as I explained. So it gives an idea for the judgment or whether the data needs to be accepted or it can be rejected. Hence we can have a decision based on the three quantities of the data, namely mean, standard deviation and variance. So these will going to give a guidelines or the description of a sample. So whatever the data, if you are going to be variance is going to be more, or the standard deviation is going to be in the acceptable limit, or otherwise if the mean value is going to be if you are concerned about mean and standard deviation, so we can come to the conclusion whether the data needs to be accepted or it can be rejected. So depending upon this one, so as I explained, so next if the model is going to be built, is going to be having accuracy, or otherwise once again we are going to be end up with overestimate or underestimate of any type of the predictions model has been concerned. So as the stat is going to be a yardstick, so we can check the significance, that is the reliability of a data is also going to be cross verified by using the significance testing in the statistical method. So by using the hypothesis, that is an assumption we are always going to be making about the distribution of one or more random variable which are chosen for the analysis. It means we are going to be using null hypothesis or any type of hypothesis, so that whether the random variable chosen for the analysis is going to be distribution, or whether the assumption what we are going to be making is correct, or it can be accepted or rejected. Say for example, if I am going to be taking one variable, say for example population with the employment for particular area, or the population, then their skills or skilled labors, then the employment. So likewise, if I started choosing a random variable, it may be one or more with respect to dependent variable or independent variable. So we can put some hypothetical what we say the test, so that as the assumption what we are going to be making with respect to dependent variable on our independent variable is going to be acceptable, or is there any variances found in modeling of the data has been concerned. Moving on to the next step, that is I am telling the same thing, a test of statistical hypothesis called significance. So our hypothesis test is procedure is going to give an idea for accept whether to we need to accept or otherwise we need to reject the model has been concerned. Moving on to the next thing of the significance testing, usually we are going to be having a yardstick called as a chi-square distribution for goodness of a fit. So, for example, if you obtained a data for say 1% error or a 5% or what is the significance levels has been concerned, so we need to cross check the standard tables with respect to obtained value, that is observed value and estimated value. So based on that also we can have the chi-square, that is a goodness of a fit, whether the data is going to be good enough to fall within our acceptance or otherwise is it going to be out of order or it's going to be in the verge of rejection. So that data is also going to be taken into account while you're going to be comparing the two parameter with respect to observed value and estimated value by using chi-square distribution for goodness of a fit. It means dependent and independent variables analysis or the predictions model estimated from the collected data or from the existing data. So is there any variances is going to be found, that is going to be checked by using chi-square distribution for goodness of a fit. Moving on to the next one, that is another significance test. It is a routinely we are being used for what we say model building of trip generation has been concerned, namely a linear or multiple linear regression. So as the name itself indicates that a linear means it is a very simple thing, that is y is equal to mx plus c, or other y is equal to a of a x plus of a b. So where x is going to be an independent, y is going to be a dependent variable, c is going to be the slope. So that is going to be concerned if you are going to be taken only one random variable or a dependent variable has been concerned. So similarly, if I am going to be taken more number of variables or independent variables, so x1, x2, x3 like this, so hence we can apply a multiple linear regression concept with respect to correlation has been concerned, that is obtaining the coefficient of correlation or the regression coefficient, the r square value. So depending upon that one we can have a justification based on the dependent and independent variable in deciding the model. It might be a linear or multiple linear has been concerned. So it is a usual practice what we say the trip generations are built by using applying a linear or a multiple linear equation. Say for example, if you are concerned only a single variable, that is what we say the income with respect to the vehicle ownership or the trip generation, it may be a linear. If you are concerned about the family size and the income, there are two variable, hence it might be multiple linear regression. So by applying the statistical and the significance testing, so we can end with accurate and what we say reliable data before proceeding into the actual modeling and prediction. So what exactly the stat is? Stat is just a tool where we can get the data and check the accuracy of the data and reliability of the data what actually we had been obtained from the field before applying for any type of the model building for the further analysis has been concerned. So as we know that we have been applying or we have been collecting the data in many of the survey format. So one amongst is going to be home interview technique. So where we are been concentrating dwelling unit as the sample sizes. So depending upon the rate of the sampling. So once again we are going to be get the accuracy of a data and check whether the data is reliable or not. So the accuracy of a dwelling unit sample selection can be estimated by comparing the population which is being enumerated in the district or within the study limit or the traffic zone. So as it is being determined from the expanded home interview data with the population which is derived from the census data. It means previously we are having a data set that is going to be already observed data. It has been there with us with the census data. So if we start getting the data with respect to home interview for a particular study area, so we can have the comparison with respect to population and also the dwelling unit has been concerned. So the census data however must be adjusted. It can be taken into account some changes which may have to be occurring since the information was compiled. It means say if the study is being carried out from some 5 years back or 4 years back. So now if we start considering the same set of data, so when we start comparing the same set of data, there might be what we say uh, changes, accountable changes are also going to be there. So that we need to be taken into account before proceeding into the further step. So next point, to avoid unnecessary expenses, a preliminary check should be done manually before tabulation. It means whether the tabulation means when we are going to be having our formulations of data, it is being time consuming. So it's a prior step we need to take care about this into account. So moving on to the next point. So the expanded home interview data. So how we are going to be expanding? So in the previous session we had given expansion factor. So based on the original list, how many sample size we have been fixing. So then who is going to be not giving or going to be out of order. So neglecting those sample sizes. So we are been obtaining the expansion factor. So whatever the expansion factors we are been using for the home interview data, it should not be varied more than plus or minus of 15% of the adjusted census data. Means previously if you are having the study area or the data, so whatever the expansion factor we have been getting based on the survey data, which should be plus or minus of 15% within the adjusted census data. It means prior to that one we should take care the data is to be compiled and it should be cross verified. So if any unsatisfactory comparison done, it may be of two possibilities. One is an inadequate or poorly selected sample. Second one, unsatisfactory work on the part of the interviewer. So obviously the data might be selected sample is inadequate. It may be sample size or the data it might be inadequate to check the genuinity of the data, or otherwise the data collector or the interviewer has interpreted the result or wrong entries made by them is going to be giving unsatisfactory comparison. So what need to do? Suppose if this is the case, so next what we are going to be doing, we are going to be cross check whether the unnecessary or unsatisfactory data using for the home interview technique, we are going to be cross check with travel pattern. So that is going to be done by the roadside interview within our cordon line or study area. So it means we need to go to the actual field once again, get back the data, whether the home interview, that is a trip origin, that is origin and destination data, what they have been given. It may be internal to external traffic flow or otherwise external to internal traffic flow. So whatever the travel pattern we are been having it, the detailed data that needs to be accurately cross checked by using what we say by conducting the roadside data. There are many methods are there. So one amongst is going to be screen line survey. So that is conducting what we say data collection or the survey at the survey line. The main objective of this survey line is going to be dividing the area by external cordon line into two parts. So where the actual traffic flow across these cordon line are those who are being recorded from the home interview survey are going to be known. So that is what I am being explained, means whatever the travel pattern which is been originating from internal to external cordon or external to internal pattern, that is by considering the study area or the external cordon line or the screen line, will going to help us the accuracy of the data, as the data which is been obtained from the home interview survey will going to justify the answer. Moving on to the next method, suppose if the answers are going to be with respect to screen lining, so some more other technique we can make use of it. Say for example, so as trips are going to be generated from one origin station to another origin station or destination zoning, so usually from the data which is being collected from the school, from the registry or the attendance, to know what exactly the number of trips which has been made from a residential area to the education, that is a land use pattern has been concerned. So these are always going to be internal to internal or otherwise internal to external or external to internal, whatever the form, the details depending upon the addresses or the residential area in the school register or educational establishment. So this data is also going to be helpful in identifying the accuracy of the data which is obtained. So this data can be obtained from the local authority or from the concerned authority from the records. So if necessary, once again we can use the home interview survey data for accuracy check or for cross verification has been concerned. So moving on to the other land use data. So we are just concerned about the only home interview or the roadside interview or from collecting the data from the educational institutions or the schools or colleges. So we can make use of other land use data. So first for residential area, so it may be what we say the travel generation intensity and the road residential density. So we need to take into account the residential area, that is the size of the family, so originating the type of land use has been concerned, so trip generation the motto has been concerned. So we need to take care about residential area, so that is going to be identified by the term called residential density. So net residential density is always measured, most typically used, and it is just a ratio of resident population or number of dwelling units or otherwise number of habitable room to the acreage of a land which has been concerned around the maximum of 20 feet from the road which is being concerned for the analysis. It means how many number of populations it is been residing over an acreage when we are been taking just a 20 feet away from the main study area. So residential density will going to give an approximate idea about the what we say the sizeability and land use pattern for the study area has been concerned. So in this session we are learnt what exactly the accuracy, meaning of reliability, sources and errors usually taken into account, statistics, methods and tools available for the analysis of a data, chi-square distribution, building a model by using linear and multiple linear regression equations depending upon R square value, cross verifying home interview technique by other methods. So these are studied in this session. For better understanding, we are going to be take up some review question. So first one, accuracy means options the model which replicates as closely as possible to the actual number. Option B, the number of exactly matching with previous set of data. Option C, none of the above. The correct answer is option A. The model which replicates as closely as possible to the actual number is going to be termed as accuracy. Moving to the next question. Reliability means option A, the error is 0, option B, error is minimized, option C, the error is negligible. So always the errors are not going to be negligible, so the error is minimized. Hence the correct answer for the reliability is going to be the error is minimized. Moving to the next question. The dwelling unit sample selection can be estimated by option A, comparing the population, option B, population derived from census data, option C, both A and B, option D, only the A, the statement A. So correct answer. So as the dwelling unit sample is going to be estimated by comparing both the population and also the census data. So hence both are going to be the correct answer. Option C is found to be the correct answer for this question. Moving to the next question. The accuracy of a travel pattern is determined by Screenline survey, home interview study, local authority data, or none of the above. So as I said it in the zoning or for cross verification of a home interview technique, the accuracy of travel pattern is easily identified if you're going to be having a Screenline survey. So within that we can have both external and internal or internal to external travel pattern. Hence option A is found to be correct, that is Screenline survey. Moving on to the next question. Unsatisfactory comparison does result then the two possible causes are option A, an inadequate or poorly selected sample, option B, unsatisfactory work on the part of an interview, option C, both A and B, option D, none of the above. So option C, both inadequate or poorly selected sampling or unsatisfactory from the interviewer the data collection. Hence option C is going to be the correct answer for this question. So these are the correct answer for the review questions has been concerned. So for this session we had referred Kadiyali LR, Traffic Engineering and Transportation Planning, Khanna Publisher. This session has been concerned. Thank you.